Welcome back to the Gen Z Speaks podcast. It is the 4th of July, buddy.
Happy 4th of July.
Do you ever feel like the 4th of July is more of your birthday than your actual birthday?
All the time. How'd you know?
I do. When people ask me, I say it's the 4th of July.
Yeah. It's great.
It's a great day.
What did
Probably
you do
my
today?
favorite day.
It's your favorite day of the holiday?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
4th of July.
Yep. Burgers and hot dogs. Barbecue. Fireworks. Can you get more American than that?
Yes.
How?
Thanksgiving.
I don't think so.
Thanksgiving is more American.
I don't believe so.
No?
No.
Why not?
Because, come on, bro. Independence Day is the day of our country's birth. I'm not a
Yes.
pilgrim. I'm an
More.
American.
All right, let's talk about today.
Okay.
We wanted to talk about the presidential debate that happened.
Yeah.
Exactly a week ago from today
A week ago.
between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. What are your thoughts? Start us off.
My thoughts are I'm pretty sad for this country that these are our choices.
That's it?
Pretty much. Honestly, dude, they both said things. It's just not some things, almost everything they said. It's pretty sad. Almost the entire debate was about straw mans. They were just attacking each other rather than attacking specific topics, which to me that is extremely un-American. I think we should support each other. I think an American principle is being a community, supporting each other. Even if you have different beliefs, like me and you're a Muslim, I'm a Catholic, but we can have a conversation and we can respect each other's religions, right? I think that's a very American principle. And our president is our leader, and they're supposed to lead by example. And right now, I don't feel like any of the candidates currently on stage are leading by example.
Who did you like better at the debate?
Trump speaks better, so that naturally makes me more inclined to him. Yeah.
Was there a specific moment in the debate where you were like, they both suck?
There was two moments. One, Trump said that there are millions of rapists and terrorists coming into the country through the south border. You can't quantify how many rapists and terrorists are coming through the south border. I think that's just a stupid thing to say. And he did say it's coming from all over the world, which is true. There is immigration from all over the world coming through the Mexican border. That's not false. That's true. But you can't quantify the amount of criminals coming in. And one thing that Biden said was that he had the best approval rating amongst veterans and amongst the public in general, right?
I don't think he said. He said veterans.
He said veteran. No, he did say approval rating amongst. I forgot. There was something specific he said.
He was saying about presidential scholars. He was saying they said Donald Trump. 159 presidential scholars said Donald Trump was the worst president ever. Is that what you're talking about?
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
He made a general statement. That's what I'm saying. I guess I'll just say the veteran statement. He said that he had the best approval rating amongst veterans in American history.
Joe Biden
said that.
Really?
Yeah, that was like first 30 minutes or something of the debate. But anyway, that is just a dumb thing to. In my opinion, I don't think any president in history should ever say that they have the best approval ratings amongst veterans, because I don't think any president has done anything grand for our veterans. Veterans have literally sacrificed years of their life, potentially killing themselves. Many of them have killed themselves for our country, right? And a lot of the times, they kill themselves for no reason of American policy at all. It's for another person's war. And to me, that's bullshit. They come back from Iraq, from the Middle East, or they come back from Asia back in the 60s. It's like, what are they fighting for? They weren't fighting for America. They're fighting for a principle in a different country. And they come back and they have very high chances of becoming homeless. They have very high chances of having PTSD, ending up in a mental institution. And that, to me, I just don't think anybody should ever talk about them doing good to veterans, because I don't think anybody ever has.
I think both candidates lied at the debate, but Donald Trump all the time he says I have the best approval ratings.
He's
of
always
everything.
lying.
He's
too.
always lying.
Yeah.
So
I comparatively,
yeah,
I have heard from like firsthand hearing that a lot of veterans, not a lot, but the veterans I've talked to preferred Trump over Biden in terms of what they were able to receive in compensation and recognition.
Yeah, but that's not that's just based on your personal what you've heard. I think Joe Biden and Donald Trump both were just themselves. A lot of people are shocked that Joe Biden did so bad. But like, have you not seen the guy for the last 4 years?
People are shocked.
People were shocked that he did so bad. People
I
were
haven't heard
shocked
a
at the
single person that
lapses.
was shocked.
So many people were shocked that Biden did so bad. What are you talking about, bro? Look at CNN. Look at all the other.
Brother, you're talking about CNN. Of course they're going to be shocked. They're not shocked. They're creating this fugazi that he was doing such a great job over the last 4 years.
Yeah, regardless of whatever they're creating, I'm saying a lot of people in America were shocked at how terrible Joe Biden did. They were shocked at the lapses he had.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think people were shocked at all?
Not a single person I've talked to has said they're shocked. They said, makes sense.
Really?
Yes.
A lot of people that I've talked to were shocked. That said that Joe Biden, they didn't expect like that terrible of
Really?
a performance. Yeah.
I personally thought he did better than his previous speeches in the last few years.
Yeah,
think
I thought he
better.
did fine. I thought he got,
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think he did. I mean, he did he did do bad.
He did terrible.
I give him a C plus, average Joe.
Comparatively to what he's been doing, I think his speaking was better. I don't think it was shocking at all. I don't think most people think
It was a C plus performance in my opinion. He was average Joe. He had a big lapse. Jake Tapper asked him a question about the national debt, and somehow at the end of that question he said, "We finally beat Medicare," which makes no sense.
He didn't know what he was saying.
Yeah, exactly. So like he lost his train of thought, which happens to old people all the
Yeah.
time, and it happens to Joe Biden very frequently. There's one time where he was reading a teleprompter and it said pause for applause. And then he read that out loud. He was like, "Pause for applause," and he was like, "What does this mean?" So it was an average debate performance, and people were like freaking out. The Democratic elites, in the party were freaking out. Like, how is he gonna beat Donald Trump? Because after the debate happened, Trump is up in all the polls
Right.
across. He widened his lead a lot, and so now, turns out Joe Biden's still running for president. He's not gonna be, stepping away anytime soon.
Mm.
He met with his family at Camp David. Hunter Biden told him to stay in the race. His son, who is a convicted felon, who has a conflict of interest, because if Joe Biden stays in the race and wins again, he can technically pardon his son. So obviously, his convicted felon son is gonna want him to stay in the race.
Think he will?
What's up?
You think he will pardon his son?
I don't know. I don't know. People change their minds, hearts. He's definitely not gonna pardon him this year.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't
Well,
know.
actually, I don't know. If he loses, he might. I don't know. You never know with these things.
True.
You never know. I don't know. But I think.
I do have a question. So if he did drop out of the race right now, is Trump automatic winner? Who
No. So what happens is.
Kamala?
No. That's the problem. See, the reason why they can't really replace Biden now is how do they do it? Because the Democratic primary has already lapsed. All
Right.
the primary elections are done.
Right.
Joe Biden clinched the Democratic nomination back in March. He got enough delegates and votes from different states.
Yeah.
And the convention itself, the Democratic primary convention, is in August, a month from now.
Right.
A month and a half from now. And so that's the place where they officially nominate a president. So from now until August, middle of August, they can technically replace Biden, because at the nomination, right, these states can say out names, but it'll be just based on the delegates they have there. They can basically nominate people. But there's going to be a lot of infighting, right? Like Gavin Newsom would want to be on the ballot, Kamala Harris,
Right.
maybe some other candidates. So
It's too much. Yeah.
So that's why everybody is uniting more than ever before behind Joe Biden now. Gavin Newsom is out there saying, "Yeah, Joe's the guy, regardless of his debate performance. I'm still with Joe." Kamala is with him, and it makes sense for them politically,
It does
because
make
this is a very bad. If somebody steps in for Joe Biden right now,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard for them. But can they still win? I think so, because America falls in love with people very fast. It doesn't take us long to fall in love with candidates or people, and so if they put up some charming person, I think they can beat Trump. But it's just a matter of deciding that
so?
person. Yeah, you could still beat Trump. Trump is a terrible candidate. There's like Donald Trump.
In 4 months, I don't think so.
I think so, but it's too late for that to happen.
Yeah.
So they're not going to replace Biden. It's going to be
Yeah.
Biden versus Trump for the most
Yeah.
part, unless Biden has a last minute change of heart.
And if there is, it's gonna be Trump. I don't think a country. Our neighbors next door are having a party. It seems like.
Yeah, continue.
But I definitely don't think so. I think America has fallen more in love with Trump in Biden's campaign. I mean, I'm sorry, in the presidential campaign for 2024. And I think that the awe that they have for Trump will overtake anything that they're trying to push onto any Democratic candidate that they're trying to push to us in 4 months.
Well, it all comes down to battleground states. Trump will always have his base of people who love him, and no matter what, they'll be voting for Trump. But the independent voters, right, the people that
Mhm.
uh, that basically voted for Biden in 2020, it's just a challenge for him to keep them on his side.
Right.
But I mean, Donald Trump is a very masterful liar. If you saw the debate, he always says, he always has this line like, a lot of people are saying a lot of things. Like he says that
Yeah.
he says to the moderators, Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, he was like, you know this and I know this. Like, and then they don't say anything back to him because like he makes them question reality. That's something really
Yeah.
smart about Donald Trump. It's not. I mean, it is smart, but it's also terrible. He makes people question reality.
Mhm.
And that's why he's gets away with all the lies that he says.
Do you remember
He
the point he was
gaslights.
making when he said that?
What?
When he said, because I remember that line. I don't remember what topic he was talking about. When he said, "You know this and I know
He
this."
says us so much. That's like so much.
No, he said it one time. I remember, there was one specific time he said that, and I do
to
remember what he
Jake
said.
Tapper and Dana Bash.
Yeah.
I don't remember
I
exactly.
don't remember
what he said.
exactly,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, you're right. That even it made me feel like it was more true than not. And I
Exactly.
don't remember what the topic was, so I don't have an opinion on it. But uh, I mean, masterful. It's
Well, no, Donald Trump's really good at that. Like he's good at gaslighting
He's
people.
great at
He's
gaslighting,
great.
yeah.
That's a masterful thing to do. You know,
Yeah.
that's like why he's gets away with every single lie. Like Joe Biden told him. By the way, Joe
Mhm.
Biden sucks at roasting people. Like he said that the best roast he could come up with is Donald Trump has the morals of an alley cat. That's your burn for Donald Trump. And then I see like on my texts and emails his campaign is using
Yeah.
that line. Like Donald Trump has the morals of an alley cat. What?
I know.
What is that?
It's a
Like,
boomer thing, bro.
it's terrible. It's a terrible line. I don't know who
Yeah.
came up with that line.
I remember
If anybody's listening in from the Biden campaign, please change that. Like that is the most stupid thing to accuse somebody of. And Donald Trump is beyond the morals of an alley cat. Like an alley cat doesn't sleep with a porn star. You know, like alley cat doesn't
I
get
don't even know what
accused.
alley cat represents.
Like alley cat
Like a
means like
homeless
it's
person.
shady, like a shady. You know, it's like a shady cat. You know, like something like that. Like he's very shady. That's what
Okay.
they're saying.
Okay.
Like it's a terrible line to say.
Okay.
But yeah, like I think, look, man, something also Donald Trump said was he basically makes up stuff, and he always says this other line as well. He's like, he also says a lot of people are saying, and then he combines that.
hmm
He combines that with like examples that just don't exist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he'll say, I was reading this the other day. He never
Yeah.
specifies anything. He speaks in like general terms,
Yeah.
which is why people like believe him a lot because like he just makes up something and then he'll never specify what it is. He'll just say the general thing and then continue on with whatever he's saying.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what politicians do. That makes sense. I mean, it makes sense for him why he's doing it.
He does it more than anyone. Though. Like Donald Trump has probably lied more than any other United States president.
Something I think about Donald Trump is he says a lot of things that a lot of politicians in the past have said. It's just the way he communicates is just very abrupt and out there, and so it seems like he does it a lot more than other people.
Well, no, he does do it way more than other people, but the reason why he gets away with it is confidence. The reason why Donald Trump won that debate stage is he is the most confident person up there. Between Biden and Trump is way more confident.
For
He
sure.
doesn't take anything he said back. He'll double down. He'll triple down, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, he contradicts himself all the time, but the way he said it, like he doesn't even recognize his mistake. He just continues on. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when somebody misspeaks, they realize, oh, like I said that. But then he
Yeah.
just continues on. He's like, well, I didn't, you know, he
That's
just,
how you're supposed to speak. Yeah, it makes sense.
but I mean, that's not honesty though, right? Like, yeah, you're not supposed to,
Well,
what
if
you're
you
supposed
are
to,
you saying if you fumble on your
yeah,
words,
if you
just
fumble,
continue?
not even, he doesn't fumble on his words. I'm saying if you say something that's inaccurate,
Yeah.
he'll say something inaccurate, then he'll say something accurate, and then he'll never acknowledge he says something inaccurate. That's what he does,
Yeah.
you know? And like,
yeah.
and-
I think you should acknowledge. But I don't think he won the debate because of confidence at all.
I think first of all, he won the debate because his opponent is literally,
That's why.
yeah, his opponent is terrible.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why Trump appeared to be better is because of what you said, because he's just better at words, which is because he's more confident. The reason why he's articulate is because he's a confident guy, and he's not the best of speakers. Donald Trump is not the best of speakers. It's just he has an aura to him. He has charisma. Like a lot of people who have interviewed Trump and
Yeah.
been around him say like he has a presence.
Right.
He has a stage presence. And Joe Biden just doesn't have that stage presence. He's not this charismatic guy. Maybe he once was when he was 35, 40,
Right.
but at the age of 81, Joe Biden has zero charisma. Close to near zero charisma.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump still has all his charisma for the most part.
He does. I would agree with that.
And to win millions of votes, you need charisma, you need stage presence,
Yeah.
you need to be able to talk to various people, give all these interviews, and Trump's been doing that.
You need a combination of almost everything to win president of the United States, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Biden makes me feel like less than a president, more like my grandpa. Does that make like
Yeah.
I'm not mad at the guy, honestly. Like for what he's been doing. I don't feel like like an anger towards him or like screw you type guy. It's more like I just feel bad, dude. When I see him, I'm like, dude, what are they putting this guy through? Because he knows the condition he's in. Come on, let's be real. He knows, his family knows, but they push it. They push it just because of this overarching Democratic thing that they want to beat Trump, right?
So Joe Biden is very cocky. He's a very cocky man, and I don't feel bad for him because he knows exactly what he's doing. He's
Bro,
been
he
wanting.
has a mental illness.
He's so.
He doesn't know exactly what he's doing.
I think he might have like early onset dementia, probably, but the fact that he has a mental illness is not confirmed. Like, what mental illness do you think he has? He might have early onset dementia, which is
That's
a
what
type
I'm
of mental
saying,
illness,
bro.
but he knows
That's
what
not
he's
okay,
doing.
but that's not okay to be president of the United States.
But it's not diagnosed yet, right? Nobody's
Brother,
not confirmed.
Okay, look, man, I mean, historically, we've only been able to capture by video since like the 50s of like what presidents. I don't think I've ever heard somebody forget so many things. Like that, there's something clearly that, whether it's mental illness or I think it's mental illness, whether it is or not, we shouldn't have a president that has that
I
type of
agree. Yeah.
forgetness. That's what I'm saying. That's not okay.
Yeah, but
And as
I
a
don't feel bad for him.
I
at
feel
all.
bad, bro.
No,
As
I
like
know.
as like if he was my grandpa, bro, or if he was my dad, and I saw him speaking to the world, and there's something clearly wrong with him, I would feel like I'm a shitty son or I'm a shitty grandchild for not saying, "Hey, man, this isn't good for your reputation. This isn't good for the country." That's
Mhm.
what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, bro. I feel bad.
The reason why, like, I've never liked Joe Biden. He's lied a lot since his early onsets of his
Every president
political
every
life.
politician has.
No, but he started like one of the times he started his presidential election with a plagiarized speech. Not many people start off with a plagiarized speech. I'll tell you that much. Not many people literally rip off somebody else's speech exactly
Fair.
and then start their career. Joe Biden has never been the guy who wanted to institute bold political change. He's always been an establishment guy who was gonna be a politician. He's not really that principled. What he loves is that seat and power. He's been chasing the presidency since he was entered politics. A lot of people do, but he's literally been chasing it. Like this is his fourth time running for president now, I believe. And my point about this is the reason why I don't feel bad for him, regardless, he might have early onset dementia, sure, but he's very well aware that he has the opportunity to drop out. He's acknowledged that, but he refuses to do so because you're right. His family keeps pushing him that no, run. Everything will be okay. And the reason why also I don't feel bad for him is because told us in 2020 that he would only really run one term. He said like, yeah, I'm probably not going to seek re-election. I'm just there to establish everything that Trump destroyed, and after my 4 years, I'll pass the baton on. But he didn't do that. He refused to partake.
Is that true?
He said something along those lines.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah, he said that. He didn't say it explicitly, but he was insinuating that like I'm only probably gonna do this 4 years.
Okay, I don't remember.
That's what he was insinuating.
Okay.
And also, something else is that he didn't debate anybody in the Democratic primary. The Democratic primary,
Right.
there was people running, bro, and
Right.
the Democratic Party went through every single angle, and they refused to have Joe Biden at any of those debates. They made sure that the mainstream public never gets to hear from any other Democratic candidate than Joe Biden,
Yeah,
which is an undemocratic thing to do.
of course.
And I don't respect him. I don't feel bad for the guy at all, dude.
Nah, bro. The thing is, man, even though he may be president, bro, and like he can make whatever decision he wants to make, whether to run or not, you still have people in your corner, right, in your circle, and if everybody is saying to do something, you feel the pressure to do that thing, especially if it's the stakes of a president of the United States of America. And if you feel that pressure, of course, bro, like you're going to do it. Like that's just that's a human thing to do. And I don't feel sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But I do feel bad for the guy. Like if everybody's telling him to do something, you're going to do it. That's a human thing to do. Um other than that, like in terms of what you were saying, like yeah, I think throughout every politician's life they lie. Some are just way more apparent about it than others, and some are very persistent, right? What is the number one key to success? Consistency and persistence. That's one thing Joe Biden has done since the beginning, right? He stayed in politics and he's pushed and he's pushed and he's pushed, and eventually he got there, right? He got to president. And in my opinion, Democrats, I'm not saying just Democrats, sorry. I'm saying all politicians, everybody in politics, they all have this hidden agenda, right? Everybody has this hidden agenda, and they're doing whatever they can to just keep Trump out. That's the end goal. They don't care if Joe Biden's life is at risk or whatever it is. They just want Trump to stay out of office. That's why I feel bad, because it's like he doesn't deserve to be in that. He doesn't deserve to run a country in the condition that he's in. But everybody around him is saying that he does deserve it. You need to do it. You have to do it. Whatever. And we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, right? I'm sure there's conversations like, well, he's really not there, but what other choice do we have, or such and such.
You talked about in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Being a leader means leading by example.
Yes.
One of the traits of a good leader is to make decisions through the noise.
Of course.
So if you go back to the Cuban Missile Crisis, right?
Mm-hmm.
JFK's circle, everybody was telling him one thing.
Right.
And he decided to not do that.
Right.
Joe Biden, it's a very simple decision to make. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Joe was
around
not
him.
JFK.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the great leader. So that's
Of
why.
course not.
That's
No,
why I don't
no.
feel bad for him. It's like he's not a competent guy. The thing is, ever since he started politics, he's never been a competent person. He's always been an average guy
Mm-hmm.
who probably doesn't deserve to be there, but somehow because he's good at like making bureaucratic decisions and knowing the right people, he managed somehow to win elections, right? And like, yeah, maybe he was charming.
Persistent.
Maybe he was charming once in a while, right? Like once upon a time, Joe Biden was a charming guy,
He
a
was
senator
relatively
from
charming.
Delaware,
Yeah.
and he made it in politics. But right now, he has the power to just drop out, but he refuses to do so.
His mental state is not there, bro.
I agree with you. Like, he
It's
has
just-
early onset dementia, but he can still
Yeah.
make decisions.
You can't when you're in that you're in a fog. When you have dementia, basically, bro, you're in a fog and you're in a different reality than what's happening right now. You're in a different like age, like mentally, you're a different age group than where you're actually at, right?
Sure.
Or experience you're actually at.
Yeah.
And so basically, what's happening is his age is combined. Obvious. I mean, he's in his 80s, right? It's oh my god, it's like he's in his 80s, but he's also in a very earlier stage of life, like in terms of experience. And so he's not making decisions like he has 80 years of experience. He's making decisions like he has 30 years of experience. Sorry. He's making decisions like he has 30 years of experience, but his intellect is like he's in his 80s. Does that make sense? Like he's something's wrong there. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying, but I think
If it was 4 years ago, bro, and he was running against Trump and he was doing this, I wouldn't feel bad at all, because he was articulating decent, right? He was able to make decisions coherently. I wouldn't feel bad, but because of where he's at mentally, it makes me feel like I know, like whether you want to say it or not, like I know it's not him making the decisions, right? I don't have proof to say that I know that, right? But realistically, practically speaking, I know that it's not him saying to do it.
So you think he wants to drop out?
I think he doesn't know what he wants. I think he doesn't know. Like there's something off with him. It doesn't make sense. He's not saying I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. It's people feeding it to him because he's so lost. He's able to take in other people's information.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't want to. So you feel bad for him. I don't. That's fine. But my point is, like, they should have picked somebody who's not Joe Biden a year and a half ago, a year
100%.
ago. And now they're bearing the costs of that. Now, can Joe Biden still beat Trump? I think it's possible. It's not impossible.
No, I think it's possible.
It's very much possible.
For sure.
What he needs to do is,
He's the incumbent.
yeah, but now, I mean, like, the incumbency has its advantages, but like Donald Trump has been president before too.
True.
Right? So
Yeah,
that complicates. So it's not
I
like
agree.
Donald Trump, so
Fair point.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Joe Biden needs to just not make any more gaffes, which is going to be very hard for Joe Biden to do, right? In the next debate, I would say like something. This is like free advice to the Biden campaign. When Biden speaks, the moment where he froze on stage, right, where he said, "We finally beat Medicare." The question Jake Tapper asked to him was about national debt, and somehow he made it about
Right.
healthcare, and he talked about we finally beat Medicare. Apparently, he wanted to say we finally beat Big Pharma, but he said we finally beat Medicare, which makes no sense because you can't
Yeah.
beat Medicare. It's
I
a
know.
federal health insurance program for seniors 65 and
Yeah.
older, and then it also helps younger people with disabilities. So you can't beat Medicare. It's a program.
Of course.
So one thing I recommend to the Biden campaign is tell this guy when he's asked about something, just stick with that issue. His mind is just not that versatile where it can manage multiple thoughts and ideas. So when you're asked about a question, just answer that question and that's it. And don't try to like roast Donald Trump because he's not good at roasting.
Yeah.
He's not good at roasting. Like he's
No,
just
I don't think
not
anybody
good.
should roast anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I just don't think that should be in anybody's. I think that way lowers your charisma. That way lowers your credibility. Trump, Biden, whoever it is, this has become a way more prevalent characteristic amongst presidential candidates and even candidates in smaller races. They just attack each other.
I agree.
That isn't a way to win. And if you do win that way, like Trump won that way, right? That isn't respectable. You're not winning based off of what you're able to do. You're winning based off of what you can knock the other person for. And no leader should do that. That's just wrong.
Yeah, Donald Trump personally attacked every single person.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's just not
And
right.
yeah, we shouldn't personally attack candidates on debate stages, but there is a way to do it that is civil. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So there was a vice presidential debate. It was between Dan Quayle.
Okay.
I think it was in the 1980s. I'm mistaking the year, but there was a moment between Dan Quayle,
Yeah.
who was running for vice president, and another guy. And Dan Quayle kept on saying Jackie Kennedy's name, like JFK's name. And then the other guy was like, Senator, who was older. So
Mhm.
Dan Quayle is like a young guy. He's like maybe 40s, late 40s, early 50s. And the other guy is like in his 60s. So there's like a couple generation
Yeah.
gap between the two vice presidential candidates. And the other guy was like, Senator, I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine, and you're no Jack Kennedy. Like that was like that got like the biggest applause of the night. That was like an iconic moment in
Okay.
in like debate history. So there's definitely a way to call out somebody, not in a
Yeah.
roastful way, but in a way that's civil and smart.
Yeah, fair.
But like in terms of you have the morals of an alley cat, that's just a terrible line. Like come up with a better line. And you should roast somebody like Donald Trump.
I don't think so.
You don't think you should
No.
roast somebody like Donald Trump?
You don't need to stoop to somebody else's level just because they're doing something.
Of course, when they go low, you go high. I agree with that. Like what Michelle Obama said. But at times, right, when Trump attacks you, you have to stand up and fight against the bully.
No,
in
you
my
don't.
opinion,
You stand up as a leader, bro. You stand up and say what's right. And people will naturally go towards you because you'll make the other person look like an idiot for attacking you.
100%. But when Donald Trump is lying and I'm not saying personally attack him. I'm saying you have to call him out. And you have to roast him in a way like that guy did, the other guy, right? Like you have to do it in a civil way that is smart and articulate.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like Joe Biden told him you had sex with a porn star, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he
and
said
Donald
that.
Trump said, "Oh, I did not have sex with a porn star." Again, which is a lie. He had sex with the porn star. It's the truth. It's been established, right? There's no way
don't
to
know,
deny it.
but
I mean, there's no way to deny it.
Yeah.
Like 16 people are accusing him of rape and sexual assault. Again, they're accusations. Some of them have been
I'm not gonna
held up in the
respond to
court
that,
of
but
law.
He said,
But I'm
Joe
just
said
saying.
that.
I'm just saying. My point is, I'm going off topic, but I'm saying like Donald Trump needs to be held accountable, and you have to do it in a way that doesn't stoop to his level. Like, I'm not saying come up with like one-liners like, "Oh, you're a low life," or like you're like low energy, like Donald Trump always does. Just come up with some lines that are effective and not roastful, but like they stand up to the bullying of Donald Trump.
I think what a good debater does is when they hear a lie, they remember it, but they also know the truth. And they're able to tell the truth and cite that truth. I think that's what a good debater does. And leaders need to be good debaters, right? Presidents need to be good debaters. So I think that's what he should do. Like if he hears something Trump saying about the millions of rapists and terrorists coming to the country, right? As an example, he could say, okay, how can you quantify that? That's the question, right? I know it seems silly, but that's the truth. Then you stump the person because there is no quantifiable number that he's reaching from.
Yeah, Joe Biden is just not at that level to even come.
No, he's not.
Have
He's
that
not. But
thought.
that to me, that's what a leader does to get back at the person when they're telling a lie or they're attacking. You question them with the truth. You question them with with confidence, right? There has to be some confidence. You're right. Joe didn't have any confidence.
Yeah.
Because mentally he knows there's something wrong. I'm not the tip of my game. Yeah, it's a very weird time right now, man.
Something Biden can also do is just acknowledge that he is super old. Like Ronald Reagan did this when
You're
he
right.
was running for president. He always used to make fun of his age.
Yeah.
But Ronald Reagan also had a great sense of humor. He was great at cracking jokes. He was probably one of the funniest presidents we've had. And Joe Biden is clearly not that guy. But he should like overemphasize his age. Like, you all know I'm old. Like, make it a running joke. Like, like make it so obvious in our faces that we like
I
sweat
agree.
less about it. Because the country, a lot of people were genuinely scared for his mental fitness after the debate.
Yeah.
But if you watch the entire debate, like, it's not like I thought he didn't do as bad because he didn't fall off the stage once. He didn't trip. He finished most of the sentences.
Yeah.
He spoke in audible English. Like,
Yeah.
those are the
I agree with you.
those are the basic parameters for Joe
Yeah.
Biden at this point.
I
And
agree with you.
he met all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mainstream media was making it seem like he did such a terrible job, which he did a bad job, but he was just being Joe, average Joe.
Right.
Nothing.
It's not to me. It's just not surprising. I think he did better. I was surprised he was speaking cohesively. Actually, I was like, wow, this guy's. I thought he was and I thought Trump was gonna attack him way more. To be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
They told him not to be like. A lot of people were
Uh-huh.
telling Trump to. I'm sounding like Trump. A lot of people. They were telling Donald Trump not to look like a bully.
Yeah.
Because one thing is, if Donald Trump constantly attacked him for being old and his age, then Donald Trump would look bad,
Right.
right? Like, so I think he played it smart.
He did play it smart.
He did play it smart.
Yeah.
He did acknowledge, though, the moment where Biden froze up on stage, he was like, I don't even know what you said at the end of that sentence.
He said, "I don't know what he said. I don't even think you know what you said."
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, that
that's
was the perfect
crazy.
response to
Yeah.
that. That was the perfect response
That
to
was
that.
a decent response.
That was decent because that was
a good
genuinely a genuine answer, and he
Yeah.
was like, I don't think you do either.
response. Yeah.
Um,
That's acknowledging that the guy has dementia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably, I think, Donald Trump's best debate performance that I've seen because he didn't interrupt him once.
He didn't.
Like,
yeah.
The only time Donald Trump interrupted Joe Biden was when Joe Biden started bragging about his handicap, his golf handicap. He was like, "No way you have a 6." Trump, it's like,
That's
Biden,
true, yeah,
there's
yeah.
no way you have a 6 handicap. God, believe me. That's the only
Dude,
time he
you know
decided to interrupt
The
him.
funniest thing in that debate was when he said that I have a 6 handicap, and Trump looked at the side and he like sneered. He was like, and he was like, "Believe me." Then that's when he said, "I was like, oh my god." When he sneered, bro, that was hilarious.
And Joe Biden was bragging about his golf handicap when he was vice president. That
Yeah.
was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He is like that's a so like dishonest thing to do.
Yeah.
8 years ago, you're not the same guy, bro. And I will say this for Trump, like Trump will destroy Biden at golf. Like, why is Biden even like threatening? Biden can't even walk properly, bro. Are you telling me he's gonna swing 100-yard golf ball? Like, he's not gonna do that.
Bro, you notice when Biden turns, like, because it's just because his age, when he turns his head, he has to turn his whole body. How is he gonna swing a golf
he
club?
can't. That's
It's just not possible.
And then again, he tried to roast Trump again. He was like, "If you carry your bags."
Oh yeah,
what
if you carried your
I was
bags,
like,
if you carry your bags,
Okay, like he's probably talking about caddies, right? And like
Yeah.
if you don't, so
because
okay,
Trump definitely has caddy.
okay.
He's basically, I know.
He's saying, "Oh, like I'm blue collar Joe, and
Yes.
you're like this rich guy."
Exactly.
Again, it's like
It's just not good.
it's just placed in a very
Yeah.
bad way. I get what you're trying to say, Joe,
Yeah.
but again, like the thing is, I think his team wanted him to be the guy he was in 2020, where he
Yeah.
kept on interrupting Donald Trump. Both of them interrupted each other, but he
Right.
kept on personally attacking Donald Trump,
Yeah.
because that's Joe Biden's brand as well. Like Joe Biden,
Attacking?
yeah, he
Really?
attacks people all the time, bro.
Well, I didn't know that was. I mean,
that's
I
like-
didn't catch that brand, but
He attacks people all the time. Like, he calls people names as well. He's had gaffes, so many
Yeah.
gaffes, and throughout his aura.
one thing I will be on Trump's side about is when Biden said that when we were at the World War One cemetery, right? He was talking about that. He said that Trump told him that all the people were losers and suckers, and then apparently a news source attested to this, right? And then Trump was like, "That never happened." And then Trump goes on, he was like, "Let's just be practical." He didn't say practical. He said, "Let's just be real. Does it make any sense why I would be at a cemetery calling generals and dead soldiers of ours Losers and suckers?
Yeah, to me it makes total sense why Donald Trump would say that.
Really?
And let me tell you
I
why.
don't think so at all.
John McCain,
Uh-huh.
say what you want about John McCain, but he was a war hero. He was captured.
Okay.
And Donald Trump said about John McCain, he's not a war hero because he got captured.
He did say that.
And so Donald Trump, by the way, has no civility. So Donald Trump
Bro,
would totally.
he's talking about dead soldiers.
Yeah, bro. Donald Trump said worse stuff.
No. I don't think that's just not right. That's not. I don't think so.
You really think Donald
honestly-
Trump didn't call dead soldiers losers and suckers? You think John Trump? This is the same man who was making fun of John McCain, a war hero, for saying, "I don't like people who were captured." This is the guy who dodged the Vietnam draft, John Trump. Hell yeah, bro.
No,
He said
I
that.
don't think so.
I
would dodge a draft. Hell yeah, I would. I don't dodge him for that at all.
Donald Trump
Or
would totally call dead veterans losers and suckers. I'm not disputing that at all. But did that actually happen? I don't know. We'll never know because it's like hearsay. Somebody said that. Somebody said whatever. So we'll never know for sure.
My
But
son's not a loser or a sucker. You're the loser and you're the sucker.
yeah, yeah. I think and then Joe Biden called him, "You're a loser.
Yeah,
you're a
that's what
sucker."
I'm saying.
Again, like he
Yeah.
was saying these personal attacks he was trying to be Trump, but you can't be Trump. Just be Biden. And Biden's brand is a decent guy. So just be the decent guy on stage.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Double down on your brand. Yeah. People like your brand, so do it.
Double down.
Right.
And I don't like either of these candidates.
Right.
I don't know why I'm giving Biden free advice. It's not like they're going to watch this podcast. What do these two Gen Z people have to tell us? But a reason why Biden is doing badly right now is cockiness. It's because his team is cocky. They think they know the right thing to do. And they've already messed up. The right thing to do was to let Joe Biden just end his 4 years in office and pick a replacement. Like he gets to handpick somebody maybe. That's probably the bad thing to do, but they should have had a Democratic primary.
Point, yeah.
They should have had a Democratic primary. Let the people fight it in debates. Actually, I take it back. He shouldn't just let somebody handpick somebody. What the hell? What is that? That's
I
not
get your point, though.
democracy.
Yeah,
But yeah, like if they wanted to present like
Right.
Biden is still in charge,
Right.
but it's too late now.
Of course.
Just too late. But guess who spoke more, Biden or Trump at the debate?
Biden.
No.
Trump spoke more?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, Trump spoke for 41 minutes.
Oh, what am I saying? Yeah, you're totally right. I remember
Yeah.
a lot of the points Biden was stopping halfway.
Yeah.
And
there
the
was
commentators were like, "You still have a minute and 40 seconds, sir."
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. Good point.
Yeah. So Biden spoke for 35 minutes and 41 seconds, I think, and Trump was 41 minutes. Biden spoke less because he can't come up with the right words.
Wait, what was your point in saying that, though?
My point is,
Mhm.
Joe Biden needs to use his allotted time.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That's
Like
what
finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like don't let Donald Trump have more speaking time than you.
Yeah.
You can have the same amount of time.
You're right. I want to bring back a point because I remember I told you I lost my train of thought. I remember what I was trying to say. So you were talking about telling Biden his team should tell Biden Biden's team should tell him that he should stick to the topic, right? The guy's been in politics for how many years? 40, 50 years?
He's 50 years.
50 years, right?
Yeah.
I think it's extremely difficult to tell a politician to change the way you've been doing things for the last 50 years. Filibustering, that's the name of the game, right? And I think that's what he was trying to do. He didn't know what to say with the economy. So he kind of piggybacked off of a different topic, right?
He did address that question, the national debt question. He
Mhm.
did address it. He made 2 small points, and then he went back to something.
Then he went to something, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not. He was filibustering. He was just trying to fill the time because he couldn't fill the 3 minutes or whatever on the economy of our country, which should be probably hours worth of conversation. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my point. I think it's very difficult to take the politician out of somebody.
It is hard, but it's very doable. Like all the key moments in the debate focused on personal attacks. If you look at all the key moments that people
100%.
are watching, the golf thing, saying I have a better golf handicap. And then Donald Trump is so good at gaslighting. Donald Trump was the one that interrupted him. It was like, there's no way you have a golf handicap, right? And then at the end of it, Donald Trump said, let's stop being let's stop acting like a child. Like, let's stop acting like children.
Stop acting like children.
And then he was the one, though, that called him out, right?
It was a smart move, though. It just was.
And then Joe Biden at the end of it says, you are a child. I don't know if you caught that,
I
but he
did
said,
catch
you are
that,
a child.
yeah.
And then, like, it's just two people.
But Trump looked better.
Huh?
He just looked better on stage. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Trump or Biden?
What do you mean?
Who do you think? Who do you want to win?
Who do I want to win? Neither.
Well,
Sincerely.
you have to pick one.
I'm not going to make that.
Your life
Call
is
right
on the
now.
line.
I don't know who I'm gonna vote for.
I'm voting probably for R. Oh, you know what I did see real quick. I know I'm interrupting the
Yeah.
question that I asked, but I saw a poll that said RFK. I mean, I don't know if this is true at all, but RFK is ahead on all three polls.
RFK is not gonna be the next president of the United States.
But why? So it's a bullshit poll. Just
Yeah, it's RFK is not being president at all. He's RFK. Yeah, RFK wants to be like his father. Great. His dad was a great guy, right? He died for the sake of this country. No, he didn't die. I mean, he was killed.
yeah.
So he is a national hero, and he wants to be like JFK, like his dad. But he's just not that guy. He's just not that
Why?
guy. First of all, I feel bad for him in the sense
You feel
that
bad for him.
I feel bad because of his voice. It has nothing to do, his voice. He has a raspy voice, and he has I don't know what disorder he has, but his voice makes it very hard to understand what he's saying. Now it's gotten a lot better now,
yeah.
but that is like holding him back, in my
For
opinion,
sure.
a lot. Second thing is his stances on a lot of things. He's a very big believer in certain theories that have just not been verified, right? Like, say what you want. He's a very
Okay.
principled guy, but a lot of stuff that he says doesn't make sense.
Like what?
Like his stance on vaccines. It doesn't make sense. I understand what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
I will say you're right about the COVID vaccine. Like, yeah, not everybody should be mandated to take it, sure.
Uh-huh.
But across the board, if you look at his record on foreign policy, let's say Israel and Palestine, makes no sense how he's so pro-Israel. It makes no sense. He's anti-war guy, but he supports Israel so much, bro. It's actually insane. It's insane how much he supports Israel. But in my opinion, RFK.
Bro, I feel now that you said that, I feel like you're using one topic to identify somebody.
I'm not using one topic. I'm
Because
giving you an
do this-
example.
but you do this with a lot with Palestine specifically.
Yeah.
Like you use this specific topic to draw a conclusion about people. But
Okay, no. So give an example when I've done that.
you've done
what
it about Biden.
Yeah, but like
You've
I'm
done
not
it about
done.
Trump.
First of all, I've done it about Biden in the sense of his foreign policy. It's a bad foreign policy, but I've told you during the course of this entire podcast. Did I bring up Israel and Palestine once?
No. I'm saying on previous but what I'm saying is there have been podcasts that we've had
Yeah.
where you generalize even companies, even business I forget specifically who, but you have in colleges too.
Generalized what?
You generalize them as bad people just because of one thing. I'm sorry to tell you, brother, but not everybody's perfect. A lot of people make a lot of bad decisions in life, but it's just like you say, is there more good or bad that they're doing?
First
right?
of all, hold on a second. So I've never generalized somebody as a bad person because of their political stance. What I have generalized is their politics. So RFK, not just because of the Israel and Palestine issue is he a bad politician. I'm telling you about his vaccine stance. I'm just telling you about his record on a lot of things where he is just not a person who makes a lot of sense. Israel and Palestine is one example in foreign policy of that. That is one example of that. Biden, I just told you so many things about Biden's life. And one of them, I didn't even mention Israel and Palestine. One of them happens to be Israel and Palestine. His record on that is terrible. It's terrible.
Everybody's record on Israel and Palestine is terrible. Everybody.
Everybody. Who's everybody?
What politicians stood up for Palestine?
Bernie Sanders did.
Okay,
He's a politician.
fair.
Yeah.
But, okay, one guy who...
It's not just one guy.
No. But Bernie Sanders is a different politician. He is not a standard guy. He's just not.
You asked
fair.
about
I
politicians.
know, which is
though.
fair, which is
Yeah.
fine. You're right. Bernie does.
Yeah.
But Bernie, I'm saying almost every okay, you're right. Almost
Jamal
every
Bowman,
politician.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. These are three. I can tell you Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan
Okay.
Omar.
Okay.
I can keep naming
you can,
people
you
who
can,
have
whatever,
stood up.
whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck. So you
Yeah.
got me. You got me. Okay, I'll
Okay.
admit you got me on there. But I will say that.
No, you are right. Most politicians,
are.
mainstream politicians, have not stood up for Palestine. You're absolutely right.
That's my. I know.
Yeah.
My point is, I don't know specifics on which politicians or what, but my point is, I know for sure that on a global scale, most people have been in support of Israel on a global scale.
Not true.
No,
Most people. Okay, so
Most
most countries.
countries?
Hold on a second. I don't know about most countries, but a
No,
lot of
come
countries
on.
are standing for Palestine. Like, for example, Ireland. Let me give you
Bro,
examples of
talk
countries.
about real countries. Ireland.
Ireland is a real country. How dare you say Ireland is not a real country?
No, bro.
What?
Countries that hold power, that hold some significance.
Okay that have stood up for Palestine?
Yeah.
Like in terms of what?
Okay, Iran. Okay, Palestine. Yeah, they hold significance. Who else?
Iran has. Ireland. You're actually, hold on a second. I'm actually agreeing with you.
Yeah, yeah.
My point is, people are not
Yeah.
listening to the Palestinian plight enough. So I'm on the same argument on your
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
I'm saying a lot of
I know.
countries are actually
Yeah.
not standing up. My point is not that
We're agreeing on the
a
same
lot of
point, but a
countries. Yeah,
different
I'm
point.
just saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that I will hold
Yeah.
people in power accountable
Mhm.
for their beliefs
Right,
and
right.
what they have done. Joe Biden has unabashedly supported Israel, even though they've violated numerous human rights.
Yeah.
Me holding him accountable for that doesn't mean I'm generalizing Joe Biden just because of his Israel and Palestine issue. I don't think he's been a great president for other reasons as well, right?
Okay.
Other reasons as well. He's not been, for example, his
Yeah.
lying, his in my opinion,
Yeah.
dishonesty that he would pass the baton to somebody else. He didn't do that. He's sticking it out.
Right.
That's one of the other reasons why. I believe he supported the war in Iraq. I think he made a terrible decision.
Of course.
You know who didn't support the war in Iraq? Bernie Sanders. And at the time, they had equal amount of power. They
Yeah.
were senators,
Yeah.
right? They were senators. Bernie didn't vote for the war in Iraq. Joe Biden did. Joe Biden voted for the crime bill, the 1990s crime bill,
Yeah.
which affected black communities significantly. Joe Biden did. Bernie Sanders did not. So I'm gonna hold
Yes.
Joe Biden accountable for his record.
Which-
And Israel and Palestine is just
Yeah.
the latest disastrous thing on his record.
Fair. No.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything bad
Sure.
on that. I'm just saying, even on a personal level, I know, and I do feel like just my perspective. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but my perspective on how you like just when we talk and stuff, you do hold like that as a higher standard when you're like talking about somebody or their character.
Of course I will.
Yeah.
Because people who refuse to call out what's happening with the Palestinians is a very high moral metric for me. If you refuse to say anything, if you refuse to even acknowledge the Palestinian plight, I'm like, what? Like, why? What is making you not be that way? Like, you've recognized the Palestinian plight, but you've also said, like, let's look at it things in perspective. But there's people who refuse to acknowledge that Palestinians are even dying, bro. They're saying it's all fake. I know some random dude, some old guy. He works in Hollywood, actually. Some old guy on Facebook. He constantly posts. You know, the numbers are made up. The children, it's the Hamas-controlled ministry. They're making up these fake numbers. Technically, a lot of them are actually terrorists. Well, how do you prove a kid is a terrorist? A 7-year-old kid who's dying. So my moral metric in 2024 for people is, yeah, if you're not recognizing the Palestinian plight, a genocide that's happening, yes, I will be like, whoa, like what's making you not think about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, yes,
Yeah.
that is a very high moral metric in my eyes in this year. Yes.
Okay, I just disagree with that metric. I just
Okay.
do. I think that we're all human, and we all see things in life based on our experiences, right? In your experience, you are Muslim. You just are. If you were born a Jew in Israel, I guarantee you wouldn't be on Palestine's side.
So
I'm just saying, I guarantee it's not true. That wouldn't be true. But it is what it is. I mean, we are on our path that we're on. I'm just saying, like, I don't think somebody's decision on something should judge their entire character.
okay,
Go ahead.
you don't have to be Muslim to be on the Palestinian
Of course
side.
not. I'm not. I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I still guarantee it. If you were on this path and you were in Israel and you're a Jew, you would be
If
saying
I
the same
were a
stuff.
Jew in Israel and if I was the same person, by the way, there's a lot of Jewish people who were born in Israel
course.
that support Palestinians.
course.
They are protesting against Benjamin Netanyahu.
Of course.
So
There
there's
are
no
people-
guarantee that hypothetically, if I was born in Israel and if I was Jewish, I would not support the Palestinian people because there's literally hundreds of thousands of Jewish people in Israel who are against the war, who understand
Hundreds of thousands.
Yes,
Where's that number?
140,000 people just protested
In
in Israel. Yes, against the war.
Let me see.
Okay, let me just pull it up right now. Thank you so much for fact checking me, but Israel protest against war. Keep speaking as I
Okay.
look up this number.
My whole point in this, you're probably right. I told you, this is just my perspective on life in general. Go ahead.
All right, this is July 10th, 2000. Hold on a second. Keep speaking. Let me just pull it
My
up
whole
so I
point in
know.
this, dude, is I don't think you should judge like somebody on one thing that they've said. There's a reason people are protesting or defending certain people. There are reasons. You don't know who their leader is or who their role model is. Like there can be a guy that's totally for Israel, right? And their dad is their hero, and their dad brings up points and consistently pushes it. Does that mean the son is wrong or the dad is wrong? Because if the son is wrong, where is he getting his information on? Probably the dad. And where did the dad get his information from? Probably his grandfather. And all these people. There are sources in this world where people push and you take people's advice as the truth. Even though it may not be the truth, that doesn't mean it's their fault. It means the source is at fault.
Okay, actually, thank you for fact checking me. I was wrong.
Okay.
The protest. Hold on a second. I wasn't entirely wrong. The
Okay.
protest that I was referring to.
Yeah.
What was a massive rally
Mm-hmm.
in Tel Aviv. 140,000 protesters. This was last year,
Okay.
and they were protesting against the government's judicial overhaul plan. This is a headline I'm reading out of a newspaper. But they were
Does that
resisting
relate
against.
to
No, it
Palestine?
doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay,
One
it
second.
doesn't
One
relate to
second.
Palestine.
One second. But my point still stands. There are thousands of Jewish people who support the Palestinian cause. There's
But
literally.
that's not a quantifiable number, is it? Are
It
you
is
able
a
to find
quantifiable number, bro. There's thousands of Jewish people. Like, there's an organization called Jewish Voices for Peace. Jewish Voices for Peace, right? These are Jewish people
Yeah.
that I will give them so much credit. Jewish
Mhm.
people, Jewish Voices for Peace, that go inside Capitol Hill, and they're literally been protesting inside, like, Capitol hearings, and they stand up for Palestine. The issue doesn't even have to be Israel and
More
Palestine,
power
and they
to 'em.
protest. Yeah.
More power to them.
My point was
but they
there
are
are-
in America.
My point was.
Hold on, they are in America, so there is influence for this.
My point is though there are people, Jewish people
Mhm.
in Israel
Yeah.
who are protesting.
are.
Who are protesting against the war, and they stand with the Palestinian people, and I respect them for that. My
Yes.
overall point was, you don't have to be Muslim to recognize the Palestinian plight. Just because I'm Muslim, yeah, I have a bias because most of the Palestinians that are suffering are
Yeah,
Muslims.
yeah.
But guess what? They're also Christians and Catholics.
100%.
They're also Catholics and Christians. So the Palestinian
Mhm.
plight is a human plight. It's not
Yes.
just a Muslim plight. It's a human
No,
plight.
but that is
and
your
that is
bias.
You don't think it's a human plight though?
Of course, but naturally, bro, that is your bias. It's fine if it's human plight or not, and it's fine that you
Sure.
have that bias. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But my whole point in this is the entire point of why we're going on this tangent is oftentimes just on a personal level, you said on the pod you have, but you tend to base like people's character off of this one thing. I just don't think that's right. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I just don't think that's right. I think there are many facets of a person that you can talk about, that I can talk about, and we can base, yes, this facet's right, this facet's wrong. This one's good, this one's bad. Why now? Right? And we can talk about that. But I don't think like a person is based off of one idea.
So the people you're saying are politicians whose character I've been
You've said universities as well.
Yeah,
right? You've
university.
said businesses.
Yes. So like I'm not saying individual person, I'm saying entities that have power. People who have power,
Mhm.
I will judge their character,
Off of one thing.
not the entire character. I will judge them off of one thing that is killing innocent children and women and their complicit support of that. That is my stance, and I stand by that. Now, the question is, I have on the podcast, yes, I have accused universities who profit off Israeli war ammunition and genocide. I'm going to continue to do that because that's not morally right. Now, does that make the people, every single person working in that university a bad person? No, that's not what I'm saying. But does that make that entity, what the thing they're doing is bad? Yes, that makes what they're doing is morally bad. And 30, 40 years down the road, history books will look at the whatever is happening and the complicity of people in the genocide and they'll call it out. And that's what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question? Okay,
Yeah.
human plight. Haiti. Do you know what's going on in Haiti right
Yes, there's human plight
now?
everywhere.
But I'm asking you, do you know what's going on in
Yes.
Haiti? Okay, what's going on?
What's happening? But so in Haiti, you have to look at historically what's happened, right? Historically, the Haitian government has been corrupt.
Yes.
Now, why has it been corrupt?
Because of greed.
Because of greed, but
And because
also
lack of infrastructure.
lack of. But historically, right? If you look at the thing, colonization, right?
Uh-huh.
Like if you break
True,
down,
yeah.
that's one of the reasons why.
Same thing with Palestine. Lack of infrastructure.
Yeah, but the reason. Hold on a second.
But
What's happening in?
It's a very
You're giving me.
comparable.
You're giving me an example of Haiti. You're
Yeah, go
saying.
ahead, go
So
ahead,
your
go ahead.
argument is.
Yes. I haven't
There's
given
a
my
lot of-
argument, but go ahead.
What is your argument? Give me your argument.
My argument is there's something specifically going on in Haiti right now that almost nobody talks about, nobody knows about, right? But it's still going on.
Mhm.
But people are attacking the U.S. government for Palestine, for not supporting Palestine, it's attacking Joe. I don't even know if Joe's talked about Haiti. Maybe he has, but I haven't heard about it.
Okay.
That's
all right.
not right. A human plight's a human plight, right?
Yes, I agree with you. We should call out human plight wherever. We should call it on Sudan. You know what's happening in Sudan? There's
I
so
don't.
many. So there's so many. There's the
That's
plight.
my point. People don't know about certain things.
But the thing is, here's the thing. Right now,
yeah,
right? The reason why I've told you about the podcast before as well.
yes.
And yes, Haiti is a problem. Sudan, there's problems. There's problems in every corner of the world.
Yes.
But in terms of Israel and Palestine and why people talk about it so much is Israel gets a lot of money from us. They've gotten $400 billion.
Of course.
So that's why people are talking about it more.
I get it.
Because more of our money is going to killing of innocent people.
I get it.
Yes.
But a human plight to human plight. There should be criticism for things that are doing wrong.
I agree with you.
That's it. People are being eaten in fucking Haiti.
Yeah.
Cannibals
Yes.
took over the fucking country.
Yes. That is a thing that's happening in Haiti.
Insane.
Absolutely. We should be talking about that.
Like that's my point. In my opinion, brother, that's crazier than what's going on. That's unheard of. That is unheard of for a country to be taken over by cannibals. But for whatever reason, terrorists has been a very common thing for the for the past few decades, right? And we're not talking about the thing that's even crazier. What are you looking up? Fact check.
So I'm just looking up. The thing about discussing human atrocities, right, is
not one thing is better than the other. I'm not saying or more important than the other. I'm not saying.
Well, you did say it's crazier what's happening in Haiti.
It is crazier. People eating people is crazier.
So what it seems to me, right? And I'm not an expert in Haiti because I'll just tell you, I don't know
I'm
much.
not either.
But it seems to me a lot of stuff that's happening in Haiti has to do with gang violence, right?
That it is a gang.
There's a gang.
It's a gang that took over the country.
Right. It's a gang that took over the country, and I
would reach out and say a terrorist group is a gang as well. I would say that.
Yeah.
I
Haiti
think it's
is
a very comparable observation. I think these two countries, they're both low infrastructure. They have very little help from outside countries, but one gets so much more attention because it's Israel that's attacking them.
Okay, you're ignoring geopolitics. You're ignoring the history. So Haiti, there's a lot of problems, right?
Yes.
So you're saying insurgency took
too.
over, but there is Palestinian. I hate to compare human atrocities, right?
Yes, me too. But let's do it.
But I don't want to do that. But I will say that if you want to go based off death count, just death count, right? What is the death count that's happened in Haiti?
I don't know the death count.
So
I don't think anybody's gonna know the death count because nobody's covering this.
So that's not true. Not nobody's covering this. There's
okay, bro. You call me out on every single absolute that I say.
Yeah, because it's not
absolutes too, though.
So then call me out on it.
Oh my God.
Call me out on it.
This guy, bro.
Call me out on it. If I do that, right? Call me out on
I'm
that.
an absolutist king. Thank you.
And I will say, I wish I was
like
more
perfection.
informed. I wish I was more informed what's happening in Haiti, right? I'm probably more informed what's happening in Israel and Palestine because that's a historical issue. That's a historical wrong that's been happened against a specific group of people for the last 70 years.
You're just not interested in Haiti as much.
I'm not interested in Haiti as much because I don't know enough about Haiti.
But why do you know more about Palestine?
Why do I know what?
Because your natural bias.
That's not that. No.
Yes.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Take a step back. The Israel and Palestine issue I've been following since I was 16 years old, right? That's the issue I've been following.
Yes.
And sure, am I more concerned about the Palestinian plight because most of the people there are Muslim? Yes. I will give you. I have a bias.
Okay.
Of course I'm a human. Anybody says that they don't have biases is wrong. You have a bias.
I do.
I have a bias. Most people have.
But it's important to acknowledge your bias.
I'm acknowledging my bias.
You are, but when you're debating about certain people or certain things,
if I'm debating a politician's track record, of course I'm gonna bring up Israel and Palestine, especially if they're in power right now. How is that making me more biased? I'm just objectively looking at their record and holding them accountable for their power. That's an objective thing to do. Of course I have a bias. You can never get rid of bias in any argument.
No, of course not. But when you do have a bias and you bring up a point, right? You naturally have a bias against Biden or against RFK or against whoever that's against Palestine and pro-Israel, right? Naturally, you're going to find more negative attributes about them just because you naturally have a negative bias on this person because of one subject. Does that make sense?
So I'm not a one-issue candidate. Let me make that clear. I'm not a one-issue candidate. I just gave you so many examples of Biden's record that I don't like.
You did.
And Israel and Palestine happens to be one of them.
You did.
Now, just because of this issue, does that make me more biased against Joe Biden? Sure. Okay. But the fact still remains to be like Joe Biden is funding a genocide. He refuses to do anything about it. RFK is bought and paid for by a lot of Israeli groups that are urging him not to even recognize what's happening with the Palestinians as a genuine, like, as a genuine violation of human rights and international laws. He doesn't call Israel out for that. So I will hold him accountable. Why is his view so biased? Why is he so pro-Israeli?
We know why.
Why?
Money.
Okay, so then
Power.
exactly. So I wouldn't want to vote for any candidate that is so I don't want to vote for a candidate who, because of what one group is funding him so much money, he refuses to even consider the other side. That's my stance.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know. We'll figure. I'll see.
This is going to be.
I do like Jill Stein, I will say. She is a party of the Green Party. Okay, again, she doesn't have an odds. Let's see. A lot of the thing that the two-party system in America has done is made you and I believe that those are the only two options and nobody else can ever win. If we all have this mentality, what's up? Yeah, it shouldn't be that way, but it is that way.
Yeah.
And
I don't believe that, though, is what I'm trying to say.
Why?
I don't believe that nobody else can win. I believe.
I agree with you. People can win, but the two-party system wants us to have this conception, right?
Binary,
Like, nobody. RFK can't win. Jill Stein can't win.
I do think RFK can win. I do think so.
This year, you think RFK can win?
I think he can.
If he's a third-party candidate?
I think he can.
What are the odds of that happening?
Very low.
Yes, exactly.
Very
so
low.
it's like RFK.
But and about the vaccine stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer as well. He has had over 90 cases
Sure.
where he's won every single one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in reality, people base their truth off of their own factual experiences. And he's had 90 factual experiences on his own. I think those are pretty good odds, right? So I don't think that's a conspiracy theory necessarily because he has proof. He does.
Look, I just, beyond the Israel-Palestine issue, first of all, like, RFK is, I don't know why he's running for president. He hasn't made that clear. Like, why now? Okay. I don't know why he's running for president now. Why didn't he do it before? Right? Like,
I think he said it. I do think he said on the
I'm sure he's addressed it. I'm sure he's addressed it. But to me, again, this is still early on. We have like what, June, July, August, September.
Right.
We have like 4 months till election, so I still need to do research. I will admit to you, I haven't looked into every single platform point of RFK.
Right.
I probably will at some point in time, and I haven't made it my decision of who I'm going to vote for.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Are you going to vote within these three top candidates?
I don't know. I don't know yet. That's what I honest answer. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm leaning towards Jill Stein, I will say. I'm leaning towards Jill Stein, who I have looked into, and who's anti-war, anti-genocide, and I like that about her. And her other policy points seem to be wise, but some of the policy points don't seem to be wise. So we'll see.
I know nothing about Jill Stein.
Look her up.
I will.
Yeah, she's old too, though. She's like 74 or 70. She's very old. RFK is old too. I'm tired of seeing old people run for politics. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what's happening, dude. Why do they do that?
Or because it's a time game. It's a bureaucratic game, right? Politics in America it's a party game, right? So
Obama did it.
Huh?
Obama did it.
Obama did it. Mitt Romney was old though. He was 62 when he was running for president.
Really?
Yeah, he looked like a younger guy.
62, bro.
Yeah, he was 62 when he was running for president in 2012. Yeah, because right now he's what, 74, something like that. Yeah.
So no, he would be 76 right now.
Something like that. He was in his 60s when he was running for president. He looked like he was younger, but he was in his 60s.
Wow.
And the reason why, first of all, Barack Obama is a once-in-a-generation type of political candidate. He was, in the last 20 years, he's the only guy I can think of that excited young people and got him to the voting stands. People were crazy. They were in love with Obama. They were like, Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah. I want to vote for this guy. And yeah, it's an oxymoron, right? Like the name Barack Hussein during the height of the war on terror. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to go for that guy. You have to have an insane amount of charisma and speaking ability. And he had that. So that's why Obama rose through the ranks really fast. And again, let's not forget, he started in the state legislature of Illinois. Then he became senator from Illinois. So he put in years as well. Yes. It's not like he came out of nowhere. I think he put in, 12 years in. So it's not like he was a
No,
look at Donald
never.
Trump, by the way.
Yeah.
He avoided everything. He never
Until-
ran
yeah.
for office in his life, and he
Yeah.
won the presidency.
Right.
Because why? Because he found a group of people that literally fell in love with the guy,
Right.
and he won. You have to make people fall in love with you as a politician to expedite the process. If not,
Yeah.
then you got to put in your time like Joe Biden did. He
Right.
put in his time. He put in his over 40 years,
Yeah.
and he became president. You have to play the game. Kamala Harris is playing the time game. She's playing the time game. She's risen through the ranks,
Yeah.
attorney general to senator to vice president, and obviously she wants to be president of the United States. So yeah,
I would not want her.
her camp is very smart. They're very
Yeah.
smart because what they're doing is, bro, they're not pushing for her to be replaced by Biden right now because they know if she becomes the nominee right now and it's Trump, it's going to be hard, right? It's just going to be hard. So
course.
what they're hoping for, here's what Vice President Kamala Harris's camp is hoping for. They're hoping Joe Biden somehow resigns from office
Mhm.
if he's reelected or he passes away or something happens where Kamala naturally takes over.
Right.
She has some time to build her own record and then she fights for reelection again.
I agree with you.
That's what their whole that's the whole
agree.
Kamala Harris game. She does not want to run for president this cycle. She would have wanted to a year and a half ago, but now it's too late.
Yeah.
And now they're
She's
going
playing
to play
smart.
the Joe Biden game where they're going to have their unabashed loyalty to Joe Biden.
I do have a question. I'm maybe you're aware. So say that happens, right? Joe steps down, she takes over, she runs. Since we're a 2-term president system, would that count as 1 term for her?
No, so she can run twice
So
because
she
she wasn't elected.
So
yeah.
technically, she can have 3 terms.
No, I mean, it depends.
2 terms in some years.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Wow. So
You
she
could
could
do
technically
that.
have 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. But we'll see if that actually
Yeah, yeah.
happens. We'll see if she wins
That's
an election.
insane.
But yeah, technically speaking, right? Because she wasn't.
Yeah.
She's completing her term
Yeah,
as vice
yeah.
president.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm like 95% sure that's the case.
Okay. She's completing her term as vice president?
No,
completing
I'm.
her
Or
term
yeah,
as
but that's.
president. Yeah.
But she's completing her duty as vice president, which is in
What-
case a
it's sitting
president
president?
dies or gets killed, they take over.
It'd called sitting president, right?
Huh?
Acting president.
No, she'd be president of the
She'd
United
be
States.
president?
If Joe Biden were to die
Yeah.
or pass away or resign,
Yeah.
Vice President Kamala Harris is not acting. She is the 47th president of the United States.
Insane.
Yeah, and the odds of that happening are very high.
Very high.
Any time this year or next year if Joe Biden is elected.
This is insane.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
You know,
But that's my whole thing about my
Yeah.
critique about politics in America is it's about putting in time.
mm,
And sure, that gives you experience, but you should be going into politics if you truly believe in something
mhm.
and you want to change things
Yeah.
in a very grand level.
I think
Right.
that's why most people start. And they fall victim
I
to
don't
money.
know, man. I think most people start because they like power, they like the
Really?
stable income they get, and they want to just
Mhm.
have the position to lead from power. They just they're power hungry. I think a lot of people do that.
I think a lot of people are power hungry. I do believe a lot of people start for the right intentions and very quickly suffer because the money comes in.
Well, then it's an ego thing as well,
Yeah,
right? They
for sure.
refuse. They want to stay in power. They don't want to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose an election, so they keep fighting. And then obviously, because of
Politics-
Citizens United, the Supreme Court case,
Yeah.
a super PAC can be formed, spend an unlimited amount of money,
Mhm.
and influence people,
Right.
which is not the right thing to do.
It's not the right thing.
It's called bought and paid for elections.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in America.
Yes. Yes, that is right. Politics, man, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? I do believe that people jump into politics for the right reasons. They fall victim to money. They fall victim to power. But I do believe that politics isn't the only way to power. I think you can get power by climbing a corporate ladder. I think you can get power becoming getting big in the entertainment industry.
yeah.
There's
It's
a
not
lot
the
of
only
ways.
avenue.
Yeah. So I think that there is an initial initial value in being a good person. You don't think so?
What are you saying?
They're trying to be a good person, or they're trying to be a good leader.
Talking about somebody who wants to be in
Politics, yeah.
Sure, there are people like that, but I'm just from my again, I don't know what most people like. I
Mhm.
like how I've been criticizing Trump about generalities and most people, but yeah, like I don't know
Right.
what most people. I did say most people who go into politics like power,
Yeah.
which might be the case, but more often than not, from what I'm seeing,
Yeah.
people currently in power, they refuse to leave. Look at Dianne Feinstein.
Oh no, I'm
our
saying
senator from
when
California.
they start.
When they start,
You
I
think
don't
they
know.
start because of power?
That's probably one of the reasons why they like to envision themselves in the like the Oval Office,
In,
sitting in those
yeah.
seats of power,
Really?
leading with power.
In high school, you were thinking about going into politics, right? Just
I've thought about
you
it,
thought about.
sure.
Do you? Was it out of good reason or was it out of power?
Yeah, no, for me, man. Listen, I'm 1 second. Let me drink water.
Yeah.
I think you say what you want about our founders,
Mm-hmm.
American founders. One of the wisest thing they said, their vision for politics was people go in it for a moment of time and then they leave.
Yeah.
It's truly public service.
Right.
It is not a career. That was one of their worst fears. The worst fears of our political founders of the United States of America
That's come
was
true.
having it has come true where people are in power, political power for decades.
Yeah.
For like 50 years, for like 40 years.
Right.
That is not the thing that they imagine. And so anybody who wants to make a career out of politics for like 40, 50 years, don't do it because it just doesn't make any sense. Power corrupts you.
Right.
If you're in a seat of power 40 years, you're going to get corrupted somehow. It's
Yeah.
very hard not to do that, right?
Yeah.
So you go in for a short period of time and then you come back, do your regular, whatever job you were doing before. Nobody should aspire to be just senator for the rest of your life. That's what's happening in
I know that's what's
America.
happening, bro. I
People
know.
just aspire now to be senator for the rest of your life. Please, no, because power corrupts.
Yeah.
You do it for a certain period of time, let's say 10 years, 12,
Yeah.
maybe 15, and then you leave that job, give it to some other person, and then you go back to doing whatever it is you were doing before.
Which is oftentimes a lawyer.
A lawyer, yes. Most of the time for these people
Right.
is law. Yeah. To your question, for me, if I were to ever do politics, it would be for a short period of time, and it would be if I truly believed I could change something and
Yeah.
have a positive impact. And the sad reality about America is to go into politics right now.
Yeah.
I'm talking federal, because there's local politics,
Right.
right? There's city council,
Right.
there is state level, then there's federal level. I'm talking about for federal office, right? And
Yeah.
even some state positions, you need a lot of money. A congressional campaign, you're looking at somewhere between $4 to $6 million to run.
Really.
You need to
Congressional
fundraise that.
Yeah.
So you need money.
Right.
Either you need to be really good at fundraising money, or you
Have
need to
money.
have money.
Right.
And fundraising money takes a lot of time. Most sitting members of Congress right now,
Yeah.
guess what their number one job is?
What is it?
Fundraising money for the next election.
Sad.
That's what they spend most of their time doing. They're not sitting down and deciding policy points. They're calling donors. They are consulting with political people to come up with the next dime for the next election. That's not healthy. That's not why a country is going to be successful in the long term.
Yeah.
This is not healthy. We need to address this ASAP because this is not productive to anything.
This is human nature, though.
Sure, it's human. I mean, is it human
I
nature?
think so. Greed is human
Sure.
nature. Power, human nature. I think the founding fathers knew that, and they were trying to fight human nature, right? Because coming from a monarchy, and everywhere in Europe, pretty much, except ancient Rome, was that human nature. I mean, they were power hungry, and they were doing it off of a fucking power high. That's just the reality, right? And they were fighting it, and human nature always prevails. I believe that. Always prevails. And so they were fighting and they were trying to figure out how do we structure this country so it doesn't happen. That's where they came up with, right, the Constitution and all of this. But didn't work. Dude, something recently happened. I don't remember exactly what, but something was against some constitutional. Do you remember?
What?
Something they did something. I don't know if it was Biden, somebody in Biden's campaign. They went against something in the Constitution.
Biden's camp? What do you say?
Not campaign, sorry.
I don't know.
In his team, something happened like that, and I saw a news source. You know what? It might not even be true, but that's what I heard. But for that to even be a conversation that's happening, that's just not okay. And you're right. It needs to be.
What do you say? What happened specifically?
I don't remember. I shouldn't.
Okay.
I shouldn't have brought it.
But your point is no, it's fine. But your
Yeah.
point is human nature. I
Yeah.
feel you. Like human nature overwhelms people, right? Like human nature.
I mean, it is us. That's
Yeah,
just it is
that's
us.
how we operate.
Yeah.
That's our nature.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Sure. But there are certain things. That's why we have a constitution. That's why we have rules. That's why we have laws.
Right. But
to-
it doesn't work all the time.
It does not.
That's-
That's why we have rules.
that's my point.
We
Yeah.
even have rules to address that.
rules, yeah.
The Constitution of America is a very well-crafted document that has worked for the most part. For the most part, it has
Yeah.
worked. But I just want to say, can I give a shout out to George Washington? He was so wise to only do 2 terms and then leave.
Yeah.
He was like, if I do it more, it'll become a tradition. I won't be any different than a monarch. Say what you want about George Washington, but I think he was one of the most successful and wise presidents just because of the fact that he left after 2 terms.
And
He
that
dipped.
wasn't even a law back then.
That wasn't even a law.
Yeah.
Literally, bro.
Became a law in the 60s, right? Or the 40s after
It became a law
Roosevelt.
after FDR, I
FDR,
believe. Yeah. And
Insane.
yeah. And
Almost every president prior only took 2 terms max.
sure. Right. But FDR, after they saw
4
FDR did it
terms,
because he
yeah.
was so popular. Imagine
yeah.
winning 4 elections.
know,
Can you
that's
believe that?
insane.
Yeah, he was a once in a generation type of political
was, yeah.
talent.
Kennedy
And-
too. But that's not once in a generation though. That was a few years later.
John F. Kennedy, yeah, once in a generation too. I'm just
that's
talking
not-
about people. What do you mean?
Because that was only what 20 years.
No, I'm just
later?
talking about a type, a once
Yeah.
in a generation type,
Type of
of
guy.
talent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, once
I
in a
see what you're saying,
generation.
yeah.
Like Obama was a once in a generation type of political
Gotcha,
talent.
yeah, yeah.
Now, what did he actually do in office differs
Right.
from
it's
what his
different.
talent.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about political leaders a lot, and from what I can see is the most successful ones
Yeah.
are principled and they double down on their beliefs. Truly, if they believe something to be the truth
Yeah.
and they look at all the facts and they think that is true,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm not saying a Donald Trump where he looks at stuff and he just like, no, I don't like that, so I'll take that. I'm talking about, objectively speaking, leaders who really believe in something.
Yeah.
They refuse to compromise and they want to pass specific legislation that changes the world of the country in a specific way. They're the most successful ones because they're principled guys. No amount of money can change them, right?
Deter them,
No
yeah.
amount of noise can deter them.
Right.
And I'm talking only when it's in a space of instituting change. I'm not talking about a Donald Trump
Yeah.
because a Donald Trump believes in a lot of things that are just not true and he
Right.
refuses to recognize reality. I'm not talking about that type of leader because look at what
Is he
what
once in a generation?
Donald Trump talent? Is Donald Trump a once in a generation type of political talent? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he is. And I say that as somebody who hates the guy. I do not
Hate
like.
him? You can't say
I
hate.
yeah, you're right. I don't hate anybody.
Okay.
Love for all, hatred
Yeah.
for none. That's
This
the motto of my
guy.
community, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. I don't hate anybody. But do I dislike Donald Trump? Absolutely. I do not like the guy. And can I still say he was once in a generation type of political talent? Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. He is because he's found a way to communicate to people
Yeah.
in a way
Effectively.
that just makes them feel like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like yeah, we shouldn't be spending all this money on these stupid wars. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. You know, that's just one example. But there's other parts.
I
of,
agree with that, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't
of
think we
course.
should spend.
I
money on
agree.
stupid
Yeah,
wars,
I just
yeah.
gave you the most
Oh,
like
yeah.
universally accepted
Yeah, yeah.
thing that he says. A lot of people agree with. Yeah,
Well, that's
sure.
so true.
But he also said Mexicans coming in are rapists and drug dealers.
I'm not a rapist. I'm not an
You're a
immigrant.
Mexican. You're not. I don't. Yeah, exactly. So like he again, he's not a principled guy, bro. And I don't have respect. He is in history, bro. When people, my grandchildren and your grandchildren,
Yeah.
hopefully read the history books, history will not look kindly upon Donald Trump. It just won't, because yeah,
I'm very worried for the upcoming years of our country. I'm very worried.
yeah.
Just
We
in
all
general.
should be.
I mean, even the candidates that seem good, they still. It's like strawmans are like a normal thing these days, bro. And I feel like people look up to these candidates, right? Did you look up to Obama?
Yes.
You still do.
You're
probably.
supposed to look up.
You're supposed
Not
to.
anymore because of certain things that he did
Mhm.
in his term in office.
Irrelevant, but
Yeah.
you
I
look-
still
you-
admired
yeah,
Obama.
that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, you're supposed to look up to your president.
And as a country, we're not able to like look up to these guys. I mean, people are, but like I think sane people realize that they are nobody to look up to, right? And even people, I don't know, bro. Even Gavin, like he's a governor of California. Once upon a time, even people looked up to Arnold. Nobody looks up to Gavin. Not I'm saying nobody, but most people don't look up to Gavin.
Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is
a
the thing about Gavin Newsom is
disturbing guy.
there's a lot of things to be addressed about the guy. I don't know if you know about his personal history.
I don't.
There's a lot to be addressed there. I don't want to even go into
Yeah,
it, but
no.
there's a lot to be addressed.
Okay.
About Gavin Newsom. That's another podcast. But yeah, here's another guy
Yeah.
who wants to be president of the United States. He wants to be president so badly. And something I don't like about Gavin Newsom, there's a lot of things I don't like about Gavin Newsom, but something that bugs me is he clearly wants to be president. But anytime somebody asks him, "Do you want to be president or do you want to run this year?" He says
Denies.
no. He's like,
Yeah.
"No, I love Joe Biden. I love what Joe has done. Joe is the right candidate."
Mm.
If Gavin, come on, bro. Right now, you're sitting there thinking, I should have been the candidate and I would have destroyed Trump.
Yeah,
But
is
he
thinking
can
that.
never say that in public
Right.
because of how it would impact the party's image,
Right.
his image, Joe Biden's image. He has to think about a million different things. And a politician should really be honest.
Yeah.
And that's like a very stupid thing to say for me, right? Because a politician can never really be honest, can they?
No.
They can try their
But
best to be, and there
There
should be transparent. And there are examples of
Yeah.
politicians that are very honest people, like Bernie Sanders. Say what you want about him, he's an honest guy. I'm sure he said things that are inaccurate,
I don't.
but he's one of the most
know.
transparent people in office.
Yeah.
One of the most transparent people in office.
I don't know. I don't know about that. But Gavin, I don't like Gavin. I do not like Gavin. I don't like my biggest thing, bro, is the homeless thing. I hate his takes on homelessness, bro. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
We're in a
I
very
mean,
disturbing
there's a
time.
lot to be addressed there, bro. Like the way they cleaned San Francisco when
It's
President of
disgusting,
China
bro.
was coming, right?
It's
President Xi
disgusting.
was coming. They cleaned up the city, and then it went back to being the way it was. They put up a facade for
Yeah.
a foreign government. That's not cool.
It's not right.
In terms of political leaders in America coming up, that's what I don't like about the process. Like,
Right.
it's a
It's
career.
A game.
It's a game
Yeah.
about years. The years you
Yes.
put in, the more the party will reward you, and not just that loyalty, bro.
Yeah.
You can't say anything
I know.
that is starkly different than the party.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be like,
Right now.
Shadow
that's how it is
banned.
right now. Yeah.
yeah, look at Bernie. They
Yeah.
rigged
I
the
know.
whole election against Bernie in 2016, and they rigged it against him. And Hillary Clinton to this day, bro.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton to this day blames Bernie Sanders for losing to Donald Trump.
Probably his fault.
It's Bernie, yeah. It's Bernie's
Bernie.
fault, totally. It's Bernie. Bernie was the reason why you lost. No, it's because
Hillary.
you were
lost.
a bad
Yeah.
candidate
Correct.
and you were cocky. You didn't campaign in all the states your husband was telling you to. Bill Clinton was telling
Bill
them to
Clinton.
go to Wisconsin, to go to Pennsylvania, and
She
they
didn't
were
do it.
like, "What do you mean? We're gonna win because we've always won." And
That's crazy.
she had a point, but they lost those states.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I say husband because, again, I think Bill
Yeah.
Clinton was also a very savvy political
Yeah, he's very-
talent.
Yeah. I mean,
So I'm not saying because
Bad
she should
decision,
just
but-
listen. Yeah, somebody might be listening to this and be like, "Yo, that's misogynistic to say." Oh, just because she's listened, she should have listened to her husband. No,
Yeah.
because her husband was
was a president,
president of the United States twice
Yeah.
elected,
Right.
and he had an affair with somebody, and his approval ratings went through the roof. Like that's how good in politics he was, or that's
Insane.
how popular he was.
Yeah. It's insane. Recently, you're totally right. Right now, that's what's happening. But if you go back to, I recently rewatched the 2012
Mhm.
Obama Mitt Romney
You did?
first debate.
Sure.
Bro, it was a different time.
Did you like it more?
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
12 years ago only, dude. It's
Yeah.
only been a decade, bro.
Trump's changed the game. It was bound
No,
to happen.
I don't even think it's Trump, bro.
One
I
of
do
the-
not only think it's Trump.
It's not only Trump.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why it's happened is because of
Because
Donald
of Trump.
Trump.
Yeah, one of the
100%.
reasons. One of the reasons. But what I will say about Trump is just because he's this way, it should not influence other politicians. Just like you said, he's a one of a generation type of guy, right? That shouldn't change the game. You should still talk the way you talk.
That's what
you should
makes-
still be the person you are, right? Trump, just because he is who he is, should not influence these other people's. But his game's working. This is the game he wanted. He wanted it to turn out this way, and he's winning. At the end of the day, he's winning the game he started, right? What Obama and Mitt Romney did that I respected so much is even though they disagreed on topics, they talked about specific points that they agreed with the other guy about. That's how it should be. Because we're a country, we're supposed to be unified. Even though I might have something subtly different than you, I can still say, you're right about this. You're totally right. I would do the same thing, to be honest. It doesn't have to be polar opposites, right? Like this whole thing with Roe v. Wade, it doesn't have to be totally opposites. Joe is going to kill them at 9 months, and I'm going to save them at month 0, right? It doesn't have to be that way. But that's the way it is right now. This polarization is just, it's through the roof, dude.
That's why
disgusting.
Michelle Obama in 2016 said, "When they go low, you go high."
Yes.
So you agree with that? I agree with that. But the reason why so many politicians copy Donald Trump
Because
is
it worked.
because it worked for him in 2016.
Yeah.
And they're like, if it works for this guy who has no political experience,
Yeah.
why doesn't it work for me?
You know what I remember, bro? Because 2011, that's when campaigns were going on. No, not honestly nobody, but I heard a lot of hate on Mitt Romney. A lot of hate on him. And then looking back, comparatively,
Mm-hmm.
not even a bad guy.
No,
Like,
but
not
yeah.
even a bad politician. But it was like, I remember somebody told me one time, bro. I was 11. I still remember this. I was in middle school. And they were like, he's going to run this country like a business. He's going to run us into the ground. Money for all. Or not, sorry, money for the few. Money for none. They told me that. So, along those lines, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, rewatching it, he wasn't even making it sound that bad. Like, he was obviously the trickle down effect. There was things he was saying to make it sound like he's running a business, but the way he was talking, I'm like, this guy is comparatively probably he'd probably win right now. Insane, huh?
Then we had a guy who ran the country like a business in 2016.
Yeah, literally.
Would Mitt Romney win right now? No,
I don't know.
Because he can't even make it
Yeah.
past the Republican nomination.
Yeah, yeah.
They hate Mitt
Did
Romney.
he run again?
No,
No, right?
but they hate Mitt Romney
Why?
because they call him what's that word? They call him like establishment. They call him there's a word they
Established politician?
yeah, like they call him like the swamp. That's what they call him. They call him the swamp. Yeah, they call him the swamp
Why?
because he's very anti-Trump. You know, anybody in the Republican Party that God forbid says anything against Donald Trump is automatically the
So
swamp.
he's true to his belief then.
Mitt Romney,
Yeah.
he's a man of good character, I would say.
So that makes me respect him
From
even
what
more.
I have
Yeah.
seen, he is a man of good character who continues to call out Donald Trump. But let's see if he endorses him again for this year. I don't know if he has, but yeah.
Well, on that note, happy 4th of July. Today is the Independence Day of our country, but it feels like we are in turmoil.
Does it though?
It
Like when we
does.
go outside, when we like turmoil, right? A lot of people, I feel like
I like we've talked about on the economy podcast. I do feel like that, bro. I was at Jack in the Box 2 days ago. Okay,
yeah.
2 days ago I went at 9 p.m. because me and Alexis were hungry. I got 2 burgers, not 2 meals, 2 burgers,
Mhm.
1 large fry, no drinks. $20. You're right,
Oh, you're
Russ.
talking economically. Yeah.
Quant just said that seems pretty reasonable, and he's right. For this atmosphere, it is reasonable. But that isn't a reasonable number. $7 for a hamburger?
Mm.
What the? I was trying to get a munchie meal from Jack in the Box. A munchie meal used to be $6.
Sure.
Guess how much it is right now?
How much?
$12. Doubled in the past 6 months.
I thought you meant like political turmoil.
No,
Country.
I'm saying
That's what I
economic
thought. I'm not sure. I think people make it seem like America is more divided than it is. I don't think and I'm speaking as an American myself in Los Angeles. It is a bubble for sure. But in my interactions with even people that disagree with me, because there's a lot of my friends and family disagree with my political beliefs, we seem to have conversations in a very civil way. It's not a personal attack frenzy like it is in the mainstream. Our politicians are not representing Americans. Now, is there polarization that is happening, that is increasing? Absolutely. The thing is, it's translating down, right?
Yeah.
Like when we see these people fight personal attacks, it boils down to us too. It affects us. Then we start attacking people.
Of course.
Personal attacks. But as a whole, I think there's more in common in every single American than divides us. We have so many similar interests.
I agree.
And every general election,
Yeah.
it makes it feel like we get a little bit more divided. But I think that's just a result of our politicians, right? Because they are more polarizing. And it's not like Joe Biden is not doing the personal attacks that Donald Trump is. He's playing the same game. And my point is, I do think we're going in the wrong direction as a country. And if we don't fix ourselves first, which means if we don't care about our politicians, we're going to go down a road where we actually get really divided and God forbid a civil war happens, because that is very possible if we don't fix ourselves.
Yeah, I'm just saying comparatively from I feel like our past, we are more divided for sure. Now, I'm not saying I think we're very united as like people and belief systems, but
I don't think we're there yet, because remember, we had a civil war. We had a whole civil war
in the 1800s.
1865.
But in
you're talking modern era.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like past
I
1920s, I want to say.
We've gone through some divisive times. The Vietnam War era was a very divisive time, right? There's been times.
There have been times.
You're right. But I think
after the Roaring 20s into the Great Recession, Depression, that's when
The 50s, I think, were the last time where America was like truly united on the same
You
page.
think that's the last time?
Not, I don't think that's the last time ever, but that was. And if I look back in the modern era of history, the 1950s were a time where the country was, for the most part, united.
Y- Yeah, right after. I agree because we're afraid of against Russia. I think.
It was after Truman. It was Dwight D. Eisenhower was president,
Yeah.
and
I think Reagan was pretty united. I think Reagan's era. I know Democrats voted for him too.
Ronald Reagan was a very charming guy. He was an actor.
He was 1 term or 2 terms?
It's 2 terms.
2 terms. Yeah, I think it was a.
But he had the same problem as Joe Biden. He got too old, and his second term, people thought he had like dementia.
Yeah,
or
I remember
something.
that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You do?
Yep.
Back when you weren't even born?
No, I remember seeing clips of this though. Yeah.
Ronald
It was
Reagan?
recorded, yeah, I remember that.
All right, on that note,
alright.
I think this is.
All right, happy 4th of July, guys. Don't get discouraged. Do something.
If you want to go into politics, you turn off your mic, but I'll continue. If you want to go into politics, I would say don't think of it like a career. Maybe do it as a small public service and go into it if you truly have a certain set of principles that makes you want to change and have a positive impact. Don't just do it because you want to have a $200,000 salary and be in the Oval Office and in the halls of Congress where you get to vote on important issues, because that's not enough. We already have that. It's been done. Doesn't work.
I would say don't go into politics if you want a peaceful life.
You know, I don't even know if I disagree with that. And on that note,
Thank you. Happy 4th of July.
yes.